Hey friend, Graham here from recordingrevolution.com, and today I want to share with you my 3 go-to plugins to start my mix. Now, if you are recording a song, let's say you finished recording it and you're ready to start polishing it up, making it sound even more radio ready, as I like to say, more presentable, then you're going to start mixing. That's the process where we add effects and plugins and we do automation and we do all these cool tricks to make our recording sound even more exciting than they really were, let's say, or we at least try to get the best balance of these tracks. And there's a million things you can do, and mixing can be a very long and detailed process. It's not complicated necessarily, but it can be involved. But what I want to show you is how to start your mix and the 3 most important plugins that I think you need to start your mix. Most people will take the tracks and start going down here. They'll grab the kick drum and they'll go into their plugin list and say, how can we make the kick drum sound better? Or they'll go to the lead vocal. And they'll say, how can we make this lead vocal sound better? Let's grab a compressor. I've heard you're supposed to use those on vocals. Or whatever. And I'm a huge fan of what I call top-down mixing, which is where you start on the topmost layer, which is your master fader, your mix bus. It is the layer at the very top that all your audio has to climb up through to get out into the real world. And I've done lots of videos on this before, but what I want to show you are the 3 critical plugins that I prefer to start a mix with, and why, and how I use them. And the best part about this is that they are absolutely free. So there should be no excuses here, and there should be no whining or complaining, because anytime I throw in a plugin that's not free, I always get some comments of, hey, that's not free. Well, not everything is free, but I teach and preach that you don't need anything that's not included in your DAW or that cost money. And I'm going to show you that again today. So that's good news. Here is a mix where I've pulled up all the faders. And as you can see, I've done a little bit of a balance. So, volume and pan. That's the most important part of starting a mix. But here are the 3 plugins that I use. I'm going to use an EQ. I'm going to use a compressor. And yes, those are the stock Pro Tools compressor and EQ. And I'm going to use a saturation plugin. And this one is free from Steven Slate. You can download the virtual mix rack. If you're curious, go to Slate Digital, download the virtual mix rack demo. And you'll get some of the other plugins for a short period of time. But Revival is free forever. And it is a beautiful sounding harmonic saturation plugin that I use all the time. So those are the 3 plugins. Now, what I want to do is let you hear what the 3 are doing to this mix to get it started, and then I'll show you my settings, and you can copy them and do it to your own mix. So here's a little bit of the mix without any processing of any kind.
I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes. I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes.
And here is that same mix with these 3 plugins on.
I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes. I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes.
Let's go A-B a lot faster so you can hear the difference. I'll flip it on and off while it's playing.
I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes. I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes.
Huge difference, right? Huge in the sense that you notice it and it's better. Not huge in the sense that the mix isn't complete. Don't get me wrong and don't misread me. This mix isn't done, okay? We need to go do some tweaking on the individual tracks to really finish it. I'm talking about starting a mix. And these 3 plugins you already have or you can get for free, and they give you a huge leg up when you begin mixing so that the rest of the mix goes quickly, needs fewer plugins. And what I think is the best thing about using these 3 plugins at the start is it makes you feel a little more confident. The mix sounds a little better very quickly, and you're starting to hear the mix as it should be very quickly and very early on, so you get a little more confident, like, yeah, I'm good. this is getting better. And that psychological shift, very, very important. Your confidence as a mixer is very important. When you mix confidently, you mix well. When you are not confident about your mix, you've probably been there where you're not sure if it's good or you're like, I'm not that great. You're not going to turn out a good mix. So psychologically, this will help you too. Let's look at the settings. On my EQ, again, just grab your stock EQ, the one that comes with your software. I don't care if you use Pro Tools. I don't care if you use Logic or Cubase or Reaper or Studio One, GarageBand. They all have EQs. I've done 3 little cuts and 1 little boost. So I've cut out a little bit down here at 174. I just went hunting for some of the frequencies that sounded bad on the whole mix. Again, this is going to affect every track, so I've done subtle cuts and boosts. These are 2 dB increments, very subtle. I cut out some of the wonkiness at 174, some weird wonkiness at 500. Cut out a little bit of the harshness on the guitars at 2K. 2K can really get out of hand. That's what makes guitars sound fizzy and fake, and they hurt your ears, and it makes a mix tiring to listen to. Sometimes if your mix is harsh and tiring to listen to, maybe there's too much 2K. So I took out a little bit of 2K, and then I did a slight bump at 7 point something K that really opened up the vocal a little bit. So 3 cuts, 1 boost, and since I did more cuts than a boost, it made the mix a little bit quieter, so I did a 0.2 dB boost on the output just to level match it. So let's get rid of all the plugins, and we'll turn on the EQ. You can hear what subtle move this is doing.
I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes. I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes.
That one's hard to hear by itself, but it is cleaner. Got rid of some of the nastiness that I didn't like to leave the better parts and feature the vocal a little bit. Then we followed it up with a stock compressor here. The key for any kind of compression on the mix bus is to not kill the dynamics of your mix, not lose all the energy. We actually want to create more energy. So unfortunately, a compressor used improperly on the mix bus, or on any track for that matter, can do the opposite of what you're trying to do. So compression, I use it a lot to create energy and make things pop. But when used poorly, and I've done that, it can make my mix sound worse and flat and smaller, which is actually worse than if I had no compression at all. So you want to be careful here. Key would be low ratio, anywhere from 2:1 to 4:1 at the most. Slower attack, I've got 4.5 milliseconds, or excuse me, 4.5 milliseconds to 10 milliseconds or slower. Fast release, this is key to allowing your peaks to still come through and not be clomped down, and then for the compressor to reset quickly to not keep the audio down. And then you just sort of dial the threshold until you're seeing, 1 to 3 dB of gain reduction. That might be a lot depending on how hard you want to hit it. Maybe it's not enough depending on how hard you want to hit it. You get a little bit of a pump on the high peaks, and you do a little bit of makeup gain. This will bring out the drums a little bit more.
I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes. I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes.
Again, it's subtle, but it brings a little bit more thump in the kick drum, and that it should be subtle. Finally, one of the more fun ones, maybe the one you might notice a little bit more because it's adding stuff, a Harmonic Exciter or a saturation plugin that adds harmonics, adds basically sound or noise or distortion to your mix. Can be very, very helpful, especially in the top end. Revival has become my go-to for the last couple years because the way they engineered this, it just usually always sounds good very quickly. And they've picked 2 areas of harmonic saturation that really make a musical difference. They've called the knobs shimmer and thickness, and they give you basically those 2 things. So I usually dial up the shimmer and sometimes the thickness, no more than halfway if it's on the mix bus, because you don't want to add too much. You can get a little carried away because it's fun. So if you overcook it, no problem, just dial it back a bit. And this is adding gain because you're adding noise. So I have a trimmer here to reduce it a little bit and turn everything down. So you can take a listen to what this is doing.
I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes. I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes.
There's the magic, right? You got the vocal a little more breathy and up front. The cymbals and the drums open up nice and neatly. It just comes together in a beautiful way. So the three together are very important. The EQ is a lot of cutting in my mind. It's kind of cleaning up, so we leave only the best stuff. The compressor subtly gives a little more pump. I might push that compressor a little harder, actually. And then the harmonic saturation after that just adds that nice sizzle and sweetness to the track that can give it some life. So again, take all three away, and it's a big difference.
I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes. I'd love to see the sadness behind those wasted eyes.
There you go. Those are the three plugins that I always start a mix with: an EQ, a compressor, and a harmonic exciter or saturation plugin. And I do it on the mix bus or master fader. And I like the free ones, okay? I've done complete mixes with the stock stuff. I show it time and time again just to prove that it can be done. And there are a lot of free, beautiful plugins like the Stephen Slate Revival. So I would check that out as well. Now I got two things for you that I think will help you as you work on your mixes and get better sounding mixes that will build off this video. One is my 6 steps to a radio-ready song guide. This is a free PDF. I'll put the link right here in the screen. Just go to radioreadyguide.com, get your download, get your copy, absolutely free. That will walk you through the 6 steps to getting an entire song to sound amazing, a song that you would feel really proud of, a song that your friends and family will say, whoa, did you get that done in a real studio? Or man, that should be on the radio. This is the goal of that guide, and it's a simple read, but it's packed full of content. And there's 6 total steps, mixing just being one of them. So the other 5 are unpacked there for you with lots of tips and tricks and strategy. So go download your guide at radioreadyguide.com. And then if you haven't already, go watch the How to Mix Your Song from Scratch series. I've got an entire video series here on YouTube, absolutely free, that you should watch, where I took a song that I recorded in front of you and then mixed it using the stock stuff in a free DAW, a free version of Pro Tools, believe it or not, using the included plugins there. And so you can sort of watch a step-by-step process of how to mix. And it involves all this: the levels, the mix bus, the compression, EQ, vocals, delay, all that stuff. It's there for you. So check out that video series. I'll put those videos up here as well. And finally, if you like these videos, subscribe. That always helps me out. And I would love to hear from you if you are one of those wily veteran mixers. What do you like to put on your mix bus? And how do you like to start your mix? Do you start on the mix bus or not? Do you go to the individual tracks? Leave a comment below. Let me know. Let's start a discussion and see what other ways you like to start your mix. That's it for today, my friend. Got some cool stuff planned for you down the road. I will see you on the next video.